Welcome to another edition. Josh Mason here, coming to you live from Santa Cruz. I want to talk about social awkwardness, right? Social phobia, social anxiety. This is something that's a huge subject. People make full-time livings teaching people how to not be socially awkward. It's a huge, debilitating subject for people who have been affected by it, afflicted by it, as if it's some sort of illness. And it's a huge, there's a whole self-help industry devoted to people overcoming their social awkwardness or social anxiety. I hate using those words and using those labels because there are so many more variables when I tune into social anxiety. There's a level of therapy, or there's a level of school that's going on. Like if you look at Reddit social anxiety or YouTube social anxiety, you'll see the way people discuss it. Right? And it's on this certain plane of existence, right? It's this certain plane that it exists on. Looking at things in a very linear fashion. For instance, social anxiety wasn't good today. Social anxiety was good today. I was so fluid today. As if the objective is to be fluid in all social situations, no matter what, right? Now, I can rip it apart more. I haven't spent enough time thinking about it in order to do that with grace and with intelligence here on this video. So I'm not going to rip apart the way it's currently being done. Instead, I'll put all my energy into how it should be approached, in my opinion. So, basically, first of all, we want to eliminate the goal being to be not socially anxious at all costs. Sometimes it's really good to be anxious because sometimes your energy and your being and your soul is telling you something about another person to either run away or punch them in the face or stop talking to them or move on with your life because they're not someone that's going to be conducive to your growth. And that can leave a little bit of anxiety, right? Especially if you are going to label it as anxiety, well, it's going to spiral into true anxiety. But really, it could just be this little shard of, or this charge of, don't want to be here right now, or feeling scared, or feeling nervous, or feeling afraid. And that could just be your body telling you that this isn't someone that you want to talk to. I regularly, it's interesting. I've had this whole journey through as I've become more solid. When I had tons of holes in my aura and in my field through my illness, it's like people smelled that. And they can smell that, and they walked up to me and interrupted me and bumped into me and and said weird things to me and approached me, and all of these different situations I found myself in where I was like, like playing victim, like, why don't people leave me alone? But in reality, I was just a receiver for those types of situations to happen. When I was in my darkest dark, I had some funky things happen. Funky. People would come up to me and say the weirdest shit. And I was just like, what the fuck? What makes them think they could say this stuff to me? And it would be, their fault, or I would be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And never did I understand that I was just a receiver for those types of situations. And I can see it now in my clients, They'll tell me I was feeling good, and then this guy came up to me and he groped me, or he said this to me, or he said that to me, or whatever the situation is. And please let me just say that if a man gropes you, that doesn't mean that you asked for that. Please, that's not what I'm saying. But basically, there's some part of you that's incomplete, and it's so obvious on a subconscious level that other people are getting in there, getting their hooks into your energy. Now when I walk around, people don't really talk to me. Okay, I must have a big "don't fucking talk to me" sign. But for people who really are present and conscious, they can actually see beyond that "don't talk to me" and see my heart and how light I am, especially when they approach me in the right way. Like in the past 3 weeks, I've had literally 3 people approach me on the street and say, "You're the detox dude." Right? And I've had probably 7 celebrity sightings over the past, 4 months. But they're amazing. I love getting, situations like that happening. It makes my day. But, maybe they're able to come up and approach me because they know who I am from YouTube. But some other people have approached me too. But the point is that the belly protects the heart, right? So my belly is there in the forefront, basically running the show, walking, leading the walk. My belly leads the walk. People feel that and they're just like, okay, I'm not going to talk to this dude. Just get out of this dude's way. And then there's the heart underneath that if people are present enough and conscious enough, they can feel that and weasel their way in and then have a real conversation with me. So I'm not a dick, but I am protective of my field. And I don't have those types of situations happen to me anymore because I have sealed that part of myself. It's like a sealing, not sealing like that, sealing of energy, a sealing of the holes in the ship, right? And so through sealing that energy, sealing those leaks in my aura, people can smell that, and the weird people don't approach me anymore. And I can smell it from a mile away. And then I used to have fear, right? In that transitory phase where I was sealing my aura and sealing my holes, and I haven't fully accomplished this yet. That's going to take time, But in that phase, while I wasn't quite there yet, I would see someone and know they were going to talk to me or know that they had something fishy going on in their energy, and then I would get scared. And then the fear would attract that person to continuing moving forward with their game plan of being weird. But now there's no more fear. And once the fear went away, there was no charge, and then it was like there's no more reason for the universe to have to present me with that lesson or with that challenge, if you will. So what is this video supposed to be about? Did I forget? No. Give me a second. Wow. You're not going to see this whole 1 minute delay that I had. I'm going to edit it out. But I just had a 1 minute delay and I was like, what am I talking about? After the rant, I lost my train of thought on what the video was supposed to be out. And it was the perfect freaking time to go blank, because literally what I'm about to talk about is, where do people go with social anxiety? Where do people go in their head when they're labeling something as social anxiety, okay? This is what I wanted to talk about. So there's a whole plane of existence that talks about treating social anxiety at the level of the problem, meaning take some L-theanine, or take this drug, or take beta blockers, or this supplement, ashwagandha, really helps me with my social anxiety, right? Okay, forget all of that stuff, right? Maybe that stuff can help at a certain point, but let's go deeper. Where does someone go when they're in a moment of social anxiety? I have conversations with people on a regular basis, and now I'm able to tune into somebody on the phone. When I'm talking to them on the phone, I'm able to tune in. Where is their mind going? Where does their consciousness rest? What are they feeling inside their body? How do I know? Because I feel it in my body. And when someone is drawing blanks, or they are socially awkward or socially anxious, and in person too, not just clients on the phone, not just clients in person, but friends and people and acquaintances and people that I meet, where are they actually going? That is the thing to put vision on, to unhook yourself at that level, right? I could have a phone call with somebody, and all of a sudden it's like they disappear. It's like their voice is quiet for 5 or 10 seconds, or they're stuttering, and they don't know what they're saying. Just like I just drew a blank just a bit ago. It wasn't because I was socially anxious. It was because I just went on too many tangents and couldn't bring the line back. At that point in time is when I would have someone in the conversation to remind me of what I was talking about, right? I don't have anyone to remind me. I'm just sitting here in front of my freaking phone. So where are they going? Where do we go when we're socially anxious? What is that little thought pattern that kicks in? Is it anger? Is it fear? Are you ruminating on some sort of story that happened a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago, or happened in your childhood? Did they trigger some type of wound, right? Put vision on the space that you go into in that moment of terror and fear. Where is it that you're going, right? It's way more helpful to figure out how to unhook yourself from that place than it is to take ashwagandha, right, and help it on a biochemical level, because it's both. Yes, biochemically, maybe you're anxious around people because you had trauma, of course. But more important than that is, what's the thought loop that is keeping you hooked and preventing you from being present with that individual? We all have these situations. We're with someone, we're present, we get hooked into something. Oh my God, I gotta pay the bills. Oh my God, did she see me do that and see me blah, blah, blah. The whole story that we go into. That is socially anxious. That is socially awkward. But guess what? You can choose to come back. You want to get rid of social anxiety and social fear and social, awkwardness? Choose to come back. Every single time, choose to come back. How do you do that? You recognize that that thought is actually not as important as the present moment with that individual. That thought is a lie. That thought is a joke. That thought is not something that needs to take you away and get you pulled in. If you can control it on that level, in that minute to second basis of, getting sucked into this vortex in your mind and then coming back, recognizing that it's not the ultimate truth, that it's not actually, that maybe it's true, but it's more like, what's this? Is it true? I'm not sure. Let's move forward, right? Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Okay, I love you anyway. Let's keep going. Let's have this conversation, right? So when you're, try and put vision on some people who you find to be socially awkward or socially anxious, right? Feel where they go. You can help them overcome this. I always ask people when I'm talking to someone, I always ask them, where did you go? Right? Where did you go? A lot of people have never even gone that far. They don't even know where they've gone. A lot of people are really taken back by that question. Like, wow, you're so present with me that you're able to be with my anxiety and not judge me because of it and not get turned off to me because of it, that you can actually help me through this? Or you're really curious about where I went? And watch, not only put vision on other people, but watch where you go in social situations. Where do you go? Right? We all have this character that we go into, right? And it's, let me tell you, it's fucking magnified if you ever smoke weed. That's one reason. I mean, there's a million reasons why I don't smoke weed, but one reason that I can remember right off the bat is just that it makes everything more awkward in social situations, especially fresh new situations. But there's this like character that we go into, right? When we're in social situations, it's like, put left foot here, put right foot here. Make sure I get this side, is this lady's seeing this side, and I look this way. And don't stare at that person, and look down, and don't smile too much, and don't be awkward, and don't breathe too heavy. And all of these parameters that we give ourselves, like walking machines with our minds, saying, and do this will be less awkward, and this will make me look cool. And oh, I'm doing this right now. This person totally thinks I'm cool, right? All of these things that we go to. Well, what if we could just get rid of all of that, or just watch it all, or just fucking penetrate it? This was the one thing that completely changed my social life and my relationship to women and the way I picked up girls on the street. It was like, I was like trying to fix the problem at the level of the problem in the past, where I would be in that mind game and be like, now I look cool, and now I this, and now I that. And I'll be like, I totally aced the game this time. But let me tell you something. It eventually collapses because the mind is a fickle servant. The real way to be in social situations is to just throw away that whole thing. Throw away all of that and just move. Move. Have that conversation. Go get that food. Get the food. Put the food on your plate. Start eating that food. Enjoy the food. Whatever the events are in that social interaction, have that conversation with that person. Move on to the next conversation. Like, you don't need to like analyze everything and think that the analytical process is actually helping, right? If you're in your head, you're dead. So the trick here for social anxiety, and the reason I'm making this video is because I used to be debilitated with social anxiety. every single interaction for me, many, many, many years ago, I penetrated this shit when I was like 17, 18, is when I took all of these lessons in a less spiritual way and just said, forget this. I'm not doing this pussyfooting around social fear anymore. I need to move through this, and I need to start getting my way with life. So it's not that I penetrated it without spirituality. It's not necessarily a spiritual concept that I'm talking about here, right? So give me a second. I think, yeah, they are now home, and I'm gonna have to wrap up this video. I was just at my natural conclusion of the video anyway. So that is Tanaya, and she's 10 years old, and she just fell. And that is Sydney.
Hi, what are you doing?
I'm making a YouTube video. Yeah, I'll probably edit this part out though.
Aww.
Now I won't edit it out.
Hello. What's it about?
It's about social anxiety. I'm definitely not editing this now. You guys are screwed. And I'm gonna tag your names. I'm gonna tag your names. People will Google you, and this is what they'll find. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's it for social anxiety. I'm not editing this out. You guys are gonna be sorry. So, do you want to give me a couple minutes, like 30 seconds alone with the camera so I can close this? So I can close this
You want to be
video?
alone with your camera? Wow.
He likes to eat stuff. Oh, yum, 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 yum.
All right. Well, that's that. Social anxiety. Catch you in the next video.
Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still, had the whole world at our feet, watching seasons change.